a king who claimed that he himself was God, and he boasted, "I will destroy your God." He gathered his army and built a tower, then stood on it and shot arrows toward the sky. The arrows returned soaked in blood. The question is, where did this blood come from? And why did Allah leave Nimrod under the illusion that he had wounded the God of the heavens? This same king plotted to throw Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, into the fire. And what happened next left everyone stunned. But he himself met a humiliating end through a mere mosquito. This tyrannical king ruled for 400 years. If you're watching Zulfikar, subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos in the Quranic series. So let's start. Nimrod is not mentioned directly in the Qur'an, but scholars agree that it's him. Nimrod bin Kinan, from the lineage of Prophet Noah's son Ham, peace be upon him, became the mighty king of Babylon. History and exegesis mention that Allah granted him a long reign, and 4 kings ruled over the entire world in total. Nimrod was one of them, but power and kingdom filled him with arrogance and pride. He declared, "I am God, worship only me." People prostrated before him out of fear and oppression. In his court, people came with their needs, and he would grant life or death at his whim. That's why the Quran mentions his arrogance and falsehood. Allah raised Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, as an opponent to Nimrod. In the Quran Majid, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 258, it says, "Have you not considered the one who argued with Abraham about his Lord, merely because Allah had given him kingship? When Abraham, peace be upon him, said, 'My Lord is the one who gives life and causes death,' Nimrod replied, 'I too give life and cause death.' Abraham, peace be upon him, said, 'My Lord brings the sun up from the east. Show me then how you bring it up from the west.' At that, the disbeliever was speechless, and Allah does not guide the wrongdoers. This debate was the greatest argument of that era. To prove his false divinity, Nimrod killed one man and freed another, claiming he controlled life and death. But when Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, presented the argument of the sun, Nimrod was left without a reply. That was the moment when the veil began to lift on his false godhood, but arrogance prevented him from accepting it. When Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, called his people to the oneness of Allah, the first clash was with his own community and family. The people of Babylon at that time worshipped stars, planets, and idols. They believed these celestial bodies controlled their fates and that carved stones heard their prayers. Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, first advised his father Azar, as mentioned in Surah Maryam of the Quran, "O my father, why do you worship that which does not hear and does not see and will not benefit you at all?" But Azar angrily said, "If you turn away from our gods, I will stone you to death." This was the first test of patience. Yet Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, responded with utmost wisdom, "Peace be upon you. I will ask forgiveness for you from my Lord." After that, Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, announced to his gathered people, "Your Lord is not these idols. My Lord is the one who created the heavens and the earth." But the community remained stubborn. When the annual fair came and the whole community left the city, Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, entered the temple. There, idols big and small were displayed in abundance. He picked up an axe and smashed all the idols, but left the largest one intact and hung the axe on its shoulder. When the people returned, chaos erupted. They said, "Who has broken our gods?" Some said, "We heard a young man mention him who is called Abraham." Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, was brought to Nimrod's court. Thousands of people were gathered there. Nimrod's courtiers asked, "Abraham, did you break our gods?" With utmost wisdom, Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, replied, "Perhaps this largest idol did it. Ask him if he can speak." Hearing this, everyone was stunned. They knew the idol had no power to speak. Their consciences testified that these were mere lifeless stones. But arrogance and stubbornness kept them from accepting the truth. Now the decision was made to give Abraham, peace be upon him, an exemplary punishment. They said, "Burn him and help your gods." So the order was issued to prepare a massive fire. History and exegeses say that the entire community gathered wood for days until it formed a mountain of logs. When the fire was ignited, the flames were so high that birds flying overhead would burn and fall. People said, "We can't throw Abraham, peace be upon him, into the fire with our own hands, because anyone who gets close will burn themselves." So they built a catapult to hurl him into the fire from afar. When Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, was bound and placed on the catapult, he turned to Allah in his heart. According to some narrations, Angel Jibril, peace be upon him, appeared and asked, "Do you need any help?" Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, replied, "I don't need help from you. Allah is sufficient for me. He is my protector." The catapult launched, and Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, fell into the blazing flames. But at that very moment, Allah commanded, "O fire, be coolness and peace upon Abraham." The fire turned cool, the flames died down, and Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, emerged unharmed. Seeing this spectacle, everyone was astonished. The helplessness of their gods and the power of Allah became evident to all. But Nimrod's arrogance only grew. He said, "This is all magic." People were stunned. How could Abraham, peace be upon him, survive a fire that incinerated birds? The light of truth began to enter the hearts of some, but Nimrod's pride and stubbornness intensified. He announced, "This is all magic. Abraham has played a new trick on us, but I will defeat his Lord." Nimrod ruled the world's greatest empire at the time. His army was countless, his treasuries full, and his court was the envy of other kings. People bowed to him and called him God. Allah had given him worldly dominion, but deprived him of faith. That's why his heart swelled further with pride and arrogance. He thought, "If Abraham's Lord is in the heavens, I will launch an attack on him and see how he stops me." History records that Nimrod assembled armies from every corner of his kingdom. Millions of soldiers gathered with him. Tents were pitched in the fields, weapons prepared, and large contingents organized. He told the people, "We will attack the God of the heavens to silence Abraham, peace be upon him, and his Lord forever." Hearing this announcement, his community joined in support as they were captives to his claim of divinity. Then one day, Nimrod ordered his army to shoot arrows toward the sky. Thousands of arrows were released all at once toward the heavens. When they fell back to the ground, they were drenched in blood. This was a test from Allah. He left Nimrod in his delusion and arrogance so that he would become even more blinded in his misguidance. Nimrod said to his army, "See, I have wounded the God of the heavens. Now no power remains against me." His foolish followers believed him and thought Nimrod had truly triumphed over the heavenly God. But in reality, this was the beginning of his greatest humiliation and disgrace. Allah began Nimrod's downfall through a dream. Exegesis and history mention that one night Nimrod had a strange dream. He saw a star shining on his head, then that star eclipsing the sun's light. He saw his kingdom burning and crumbling in the dream. He woke up drenched in sweat from fear. He said, "Interpret this dream I had last night." The astrologers pondered and said, "O king, the interpretation is that a child will be born in your kingdom who will shatter your divinity, invalidate your religion, and call people to the true God." Hearing this, Nimrod trembled. He said, "Has that child been born already?" The astrologers replied, "His signs have already appeared." At this, Nimrod issued a harsh decree on his people. "From today, kill every newborn boy. Don't let any woman give birth to a child who lives, so that boy can never be born." Thousands of innocent children were slaughtered. Wailing and crying filled the homes. But Nimrod's decree failed before Allah's power, because Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, had already been born by then, and Allah kept him safe. The more powerful Nimrod appeared outwardly, the more terrified he became inwardly. The dream had robbed him of sleep. He knew a force stood against him that his armies and treasures couldn't stop. He told his courtiers, "I am the God of earth and sky. There is no Lord besides me. If Abraham, peace be upon him, is telling the truth, I will fight his Lord myself." This announcement was the peak of his arrogance. Allah left him further deluded so his pride would be exposed to all. Nimrod decided to prove his divinity once and for all. He spread his armies across every corner of the city, locked the treasury doors for protection, and announced throughout his domains, "I am the God of all, and none can oppose me." He instilled such fear that anyone defying Nimrod's orders would meet the same fate as his enemies. But to crush Nimrod's pride and power, Allah chose the smallest and most unbelievable creature. Ibn Kathir and Tabarani narrate that Nimrod's death came through a painful affliction. Some narrations say his body burst open or he was killed in a strange way. History and exegeses say a tiny mosquito entered Nimrod's ear. This was no ordinary mosquito, but a sign of Allah's power. It went into his brain and became the cause of his death and humiliation. He who once thought himself the greatest god on earth was disgraced and ruined by the hands of a tiny creature, despite all his might. Nimrod's death revealed to all that human power, treasures and armies are nothing without Allah's will. Those who followed him were stunned that this mighty king had finally been ended by a mosquito. For Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, this was a great victory. He continued guiding his people toward the truth, and they saw that Allah's help and power are greater than any tyrant. After Nimrod's humiliating death, chaos erupted in Babylon's kingdom. Those gripped by his fear and oppression were now free, but people hadn't fully embraced monotheism yet. Many were still trapped in the web of his influences and beliefs. Fear and astonishment hung over them. They wondered how a king who once thought himself God could meet such a degrading end. From children and elders to soldiers, everyone's heart questioned, why did the mightiest power on earth and in the heavens come to an end? Some began saying, if Nimrod, who claimed to be God, could be humiliated by a mosquito, then who is the true God who conquers all powers? This was the perfect opportunity for Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, to plant the light of monotheism in people's hearts. He told every individual in his community, now you've seen where oppression and arrogance lead. My Lord is the one who created the heavens and the earth. He is everyone's protector, and no one can hide from his power. Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, used every possible wisdom to deter people from idolatry. He presented manifestations of divine power before them, like the sun, moon, stars, wind and rain, and posed questions and examples so they would understand that idols or human might are nothing compared to Allah's power. He cited the example of Nimrod's tyranny to show that false gods' strength is mere deception and illusion. Slowly but surely, people's hearts softened. Many abandoned their old beliefs and began listening to Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him. They realized that Allah's oneness and power are supreme. Allah blessed the efforts of Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him. A new social and spiritual environment emerged where idolatry weakened and the bright principles of monotheism took hold. This era proves that truth triumphs after tyranny, and Allah's plans prevail in every circumstance, no matter how mighty humans may seem. After Nimrod's downfall and Prophet Abraham's, peace be upon him, propagation, a new chapter began in the people of Babylon.